Well, hi there, everybody, and good Tuesday morning to meteorologist Travis Kleneski here, recording this a little later than I would like because I've already recorded this twice, actually, but I keep having to re-record because there have been some upgrades to the winter storm warnings 2 times now, in fact, here. So this is the latest as of 8 o'clock here, and hopefully there won't be any changes from this for a while. So winter storm warnings have now all been extended now to include parts of central Nebraska and all of northeast Nebraska. Earlier this morning, it only included places like Omaha down towards Pawnee County and Richardson County, but it has expanded westward to include Lincoln, Columbus, Norfolk, Grand Island, Central City, York, Seward, up towards Knox County, Cedar County there in northeast Nebraska. So most of these until 6 o'clock in the morning for the eastern part of the state covered by the National Weather Service out of Omaha. Pretty much everybody else, this goes until midnight tonight except for the far southwest corner of the state where it goes until 6 p.m. I think most of these will be canceled early, to be honest with you, as the storm system should be out of here before these expiration times. Let's look at where we're at right now here. This is what we've seen just over the last couple of hours. And in fact, I want to actually back this up and show you what we've seen over the last 12 hours as we saw that snow band lift through the area overnight, dumped a good 1 to 4 inches of snow around the area. But things have turned a little more interesting just in the last hour or two as we're starting to mix in more sleet across south central Nebraska, north central Kansas. We've had some convection, a little thunder and lightning in a few spots, and now we're starting to see more of that pink show up on our map, which is a more, if it's not sleet, it's freezing rain. And that becomes a big concern today, is that freezing rain as it moves out of Kansas into south central and southeast Nebraska. We're going to start to see some icing concerns. So let's take a look at Futurecast here, and I'm going to bump this up to the current time here since again, I'm recording this a little bit later now. So again, here's where we're at. Breezy southeasterly winds. They'll be breezy this morning. They'll back off a little bit later today. Snow continues to fall out there, and we've already seen reports. Again, we've had up to 2 to 5 inches. 5 inches in Central City, one of the higher reports I've seen so far. A lot of 2 to 4 inch reports in eastern Nebraska, 2 to 4 in the Tri-Cities area as well. Lighter out west so far. It's been about 1 to 2 inches of snowfall out west. So snow will continue to fall today, but again, start to mix with and change to sleet and freezing rain. And again, more likely the farther south and southwest east that you go. But even as snow ends here in some places, and I'll kind of highlight some of those here for you, some of these places like this here, or even this little pocket here, there may be some little pockets of freezing drizzle that develop here and there. So there could be some light icing. This is where your heavier icing is going to be here. But there could be some pockets of light icing farther to the north and west where it's not snowing, especially into this afternoon. So like I said, in these areas here, don't be surprised to see a little bit of light ice because of freezing drizzle in some spots. Meanwhile, it may warm up enough to just get some plain old rain in the far southeast, and then of course we're looking at that freezing rain threat right in there. So by 6 o'clock, most of the precip is done. A little bit left in southeast Nebraska, but still some pockets of freezing drizzle through say 8 or 9 o'clock. Not out of the question here in central Nebraska. The winds will die down later today, but then watch how they'll start to pick back up out of the northwest as we get into this evening and overnight tonight on the backside of the system. Skies will be clearing up through the overnight, so it should be mainly clear by tomorrow morning, and sunshine returns to help melt off that snow and ice on the ground for tomorrow. So here are your potential snowfalls, additional accumulations on top of what we've already seen. So this is a new forecast model showing what we could get on top of the snow we've already seen. So keep in mind, for instance, the Tri-Cities, we've had around 3 inches of snow already. An additional inch, maybe an inch and a half for snow, so snow is not out of the question, maybe a little more in Grand Island. But farther to the east and northeast where the snow is going to continue to fall a little bit longer, some places will pick up another 2, 3, 4 inches of snowfall, and that's on top of 2 to 4 inches of snow that have already fallen. So these totals are going to get up there around 6, 7, maybe 8 inches of snow before it's all said and done. Additional snow accumulations can be pretty light out towards the west and down towards the south. But then the other concern is icing. Now I would say this model doesn't completely give you the best idea of the icing, but I don't have a lot to show a great idea of it. Basically what I wanted to show this for is this shows you who is going to get the thicker ice out of this, the heavier rains turning into ice here. So basically we're watching these southeastern areas where some places may pick up a couple of tenths of an inch of ice, maybe up to a quarter of an inch of ice. And that's enough to maybe produce some potential isolated power outages. Branches and trees could be damaged, maybe some power lines damaged. So those are the most likely areas to maybe see some isolated power outages. But pretty much anybody else could see a little bit of light icing out there. We could see some a couple of hundredths of an inch up to maybe a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation, which is still enough to cause additional slick locations on top of the snow that we've already seen out there. And this is how your precipitation develops, the different types of precipitation. On the far right, that's snow. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's cold up top. It's cold all the way through the layers of the atmosphere as snow falls. It stays as snow because it's below freezing all the way through. But where things turn more complicated, sleet, for instance, snow falls into a warmer layer aloft, falls into that warm layer, turns into rain, so snow turns into rain, but then it falls back through some colder air, and before it hits the ground, it's able to refreeze, turning it into little ice pellets or sleet. Freezing rain is very similar. As it's snow initially, it falls and then turns into rain, but then as it continues to fall, it hits that colder at the surface, but doesn't have enough time to refreeze, so it doesn't freeze until after it hits the surface, and at that point, it's called freezing rain. It just turns into a layer of ice. Rain, that's rain, freezing rain that doesn't freeze on the surface because the surface temperature is above 32 degrees. So hopefully that kind of helps explain how each of these different types of precipitation develop. Hail is completely different from all of those. Those are due to thunderstorms. Those are completely different than sleet or anything like that. All right. Temperatures for today, topping out in the mid to upper 20s and low to mid 30s. Some places might sneak a little above freezing in the south, and that's where that freezing rain might turn into plain old rain, or that surface temperature might get a little above freezing. And then it gets cold tonight, teens for overnight, lows, highs tomorrow, kind of similar to today, mid to upper 20s and low to mid 30s. Tomorrow night, another very cold night ahead of us here, with temperatures down into the single digits and teens. And then New Year's Eve day, temperatures topping out in the upper 20s and 30s, perhaps near 40 out towards the west. Snow on the ground is going to influence temperatures in the coming days ahead, and that's going to keep things a little bit on the chillier side. Let's look at the long-range forecast, which shows us again, after today's very busy weather of snow mixing with sleet and freezing rain, we're going to see quieter weather for the final 2 days of 2020, but it will remain on the chilly side. We enter 2021 a little more interesting on New Year's Day there, Friday. Now, for us in the Tri-Cities, I think it's just going to be a few extra clouds and a little bit of wind out there. But as you go to the south and east from here, southeast of here, Hebron, Beatrice, Lincoln, over towards eastern Nebraska, Omaha, a little snow is going to be possible. There's going to be a bigger storm system to our east, and that might glance through the southeastern portions of the Local 4 viewing area. There'll be a little bit of wind that goes with it as well, but I think just a few extra clouds here in the Tri-Cities, partly to mostly cloudy skies. More sunshine over the weekend, and temperatures start to warm up a little bit as we start to melt off some snow. That's going to help things out a little bit here. I don't think it'll be all gone this weekend, though. But temperatures up into the mid-30s on Saturday, near 40 on Sunday, near 40 again on Monday. In fact, Monday's probably a better chance of breaking 40 compared to Sunday. But we're going to keep those temperatures up there around that 40-degree mark as we head into much of next week, which is a little bit above average for early January. So that'll be nice to at least have some decent temperatures. There is really no Arctic air in place. Again, we get some nights down in the single digits and teens, but for this time of the year, that's not unusually cold. We're not looking at sub-freezing or sub-zero readings or anything like that. Well, hopefully this is the last time I'll have to record this. If there are more changes, I'll have to re-record and post it again on the website. But I want to thank you all for watching. This is my final forecast of the year. I won't be back with you until next Monday. So join Kit in the mornings, the next couple of mornings, of course, Tim at night as well. So I want to wish you all a happy new year, and I will see you all again in 2021. Take care and God bless. Bye.